Everyone, Christian here, and as you can see, we're inside. So this is going to be a discussion. Obviously, you can see the title of what this will be about. That's the International Palm Society. Before I get into that, I wanted to do a few updates. The drone is real. It exists, and I've been flying it. It is very easy to crash. So the videos I've been taking on it have been decent. They don't have any sound on them, but I'm trying to get a good bird's eye view of some palms that I want to talk about, and I just kind of have to get better at flying this thing. So I've crashed it on the roof of my house. I've crashed it on the lawn. I've crashed it into coconut palms twice, but it still survived. This propeller's a little worn, but I've got an extra set, and all that matters is that it still works. So thanks to my mom for getting that for me. So anyway, it's really chilly out and windy. My vlogs are terrible in the wind. I need to get a lapel mic, the little ones you put right here, and put a little cover on it so the wind doesn't get to it. But excuse me, seltzer water's quite carbonated. So anyway, let's get to the main discussion here on this vlog, and that's going to be, should you join the International Palm Society? And I'm going to give you a little background on what the International Palm Society is, my experiences with it, and what it can provide for you. So, and I haven't been paid or anything or asked by anyone, to give a review on it. I just thought it was a good thing to talk about. It is the largest palm organization in the world, dedicated to the advancement of palm knowledge. And it was founded in 1958, around there, I believe, by a man named Dent Smith. He was from Daytona Beach, Florida, and he was a palm enthusiast that liked the zone push, which means if you live in a zone 9 climate, you want to push, try and grow some coconuts, which are zone 10 palms. And he was successful with a lot of plants, and he was very knowledgeable about what grew where. And this is before the urban heat islands of Daytona, Orlando, Tampa. Disney didn't exist, Universal Studios didn't exist, Busch Gardens was not there, no Legoland, maybe a few little gardens in Polk County area, in the springs and lakes that they have there, but nothing like we see today. Like these mega resorts, they didn't exist. Sorry, dry mouth. And he wanted to gather all this information from around the world, people collecting. There was no internet, there was no email. The only way you could kind of get seeds is if you had a correspondence with someone from another country, and there really wasn't a way to kind of organize everything. So this was the way to organize it, and he and a few dozen other people started this, and they're kind of, I consider most of them, the original members, kind of just the OGs of the palm world. Before it was the first real social organization that existed for the advancement of palms. So only one of the original members is still with us. She's a great woman, extremely knowledgeable, has an excellent garden, and she, I really commend her on her lifelong commitment to palms. It's been 60 plus years, so I can only hope that I can do that for 60 plus years. But anyway, in the 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s, even into the 2000s, this was the best way to meet people that were also into palms. Correspondence, acquiring seeds you couldn't get anywhere else. You can't just order them online, obviously. But when I first got into palms, when I lived in Florida starting in 2004, I was told by my mentor, join the International Palm Society. It's $55 a year. It was $45 back then, but obviously inflation and whatnot, and what else they can offer, it's it's a little bit more. You can get a lifetime membership too. It's somewhere just around or north of $1,000, and so that's pretty much like 20 years worth. And so for getting a year's membership, you get a quarterly magazine called Palms that comes out. It's a little color pamphlet. I should have probably brought one of the magazines. You know what? I'm gonna pause this and I'll get one. All right, so I managed to find my latest magazine. This is actually from December. But this is what it looks like. It says Palms, Journal of the International Palm Society. On the front, you usually have a nice color picture of some plant. It looks like a livistone. I actually had to check in the inside, and I will. And on the back, this looks like pretty cool. I believe that's a Nipa in infructescence, or I'm sorry, inflorescence. I'm just gonna. So here, this is actually okay. So they have. This is for donations, but let me see if I can't find the. So it says International Palm Society, founder Dent Smith, and it says the International Palm Society is a non-profit organization engaged in the study of palms. The society is international in scope with worldwide membership, and the formation of regional or local chapters affiliated with the International Society is encouraged. Please address all inquiries regarding membership or information about the society to the International Palm Society, blah, 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 the Hills, Texas. So it's now, I think it's outside of Austin. It used to be in Kansas. I'm not sure why, but it gives you the people who are on the board of directors. And so basically it has all the directors here. I'm not going to go through all their names, but you can find out more information on palms.org. And it has the editors here. One of the editors is John Dransfield, which is, he's kind of like the godfather of the palm world. He's a British botanist that has done a lot of discoveries on Dipsis, and really great guy. Went out to dinner with him one time. Just so filled with palm knowledge, in the scientific sense, and the horticultural cultivation sense as well. But that's his job, to focus on the scientific part of it, the botany part. So anyway, it doesn't actually say. I don't know where it says it, what that is, but this appears to be a livistona, as you can see. And as you can see, the upright pinnate leaves of this leads me to believe that this is Nipa fruticans. So this little thing will turn into this massive bulb of seeds that will actually drop off and germinate. And that's a pretty cool picture, actually. Nice close-up with the color contrast between this bronze copper and this bright yellow, neon-ish yellow. So it looks like almost like someone colored it with a crayon. But anyway, so this is what you would get 4 times a year. It says volume 62, parentheses 4, meaning the 4th quarter of the year. So I believe the 62 means the 62nd year. So that would mean that maybe it's 1956 or 57 that the society started. Anyway, that's what you get. You get 4 of these. The membership involved. You get to be involved in a lot of other things, including the International Palm Society's biennial trips, which have gone anywhere from Thailand to Madagascar, Hawaii, Florida, Brazil, New Caledonia, Australia, California, and then just to mention some in the past 20 years or so. And usually, you get to stay at really nice resorts. There's guided tours, and you get to meet a lot of people that share the same passion as you. Now, the downside to that is that these tours cost usually between like $2,000 to $6,000 a person, including the cost of the flight. Sometimes even more than that. I've heard people paying upwards of $10,000 to $12,000 each. So the biennials may not be for everyone. I've never been on one. When the biennial was in Miami in 2014, I actually was busy in the world of poker. I did not make it. And I feel bad about that because that was obviously a very close and easy one to go to. So if it comes around to Miami again, I'll be there. But there's a number of people in the Palm Society, the IPS, that don't really go to the biennials. But it's a very close knit world in the at the biennials. It's a very fun time. Everyone there obviously shares the same passion, and you're recognized as an International Palm Society member on palmtalk.org, which is a great site for finding. You can ask questions, provide pictures, and just get information about climate cultivation. I post on there as CF Kingfish. If you see me on there, that's who I am. You see my posts back to 2006. But there's if you think that you're new to the palm world and that you shouldn't belong to such a a worldwide organization, it's definitely not the case. Everyone has to start somewhere, and part of why I wanted to do this vlog was to pass on information to either people who just got into palms, or maybe people who are coming to the age where they're getting out on their own, out of college or out of high school, and they have a passion. And one thing I noticed when I first started getting into palms is that not a lot of people that were younger than me were getting into palms as well. So when I found someone that really liked them, really liked palms, I would kind of take them under my wing. So there's been a couple people that I've sort of I would not mentored like they were in nursery. They've gone and done other professions, but they would ask a lot of questions, and I'd be it took my time to kind of help them out and learn more about palms and who to talk to, where to go, to see what they wanted to see. So that's why with this channel, I hope that other people, obviously YouTube is used by many people in their teens and 20s, so and 30s, because we're still young, sort of, and to be able to get some information. And so the IPS is just another place to find that sort of information, meet people. It also, like I said, it encourages local chapters. So one of the local chapters that I thoroughly enjoy is the Central Florida Palm and Cycad Society. A lot of palm societies will also have a cycad society, like there'll also be a palm and a cycad society, because a lot of palm lovers also enjoy collecting cycads. They're visually similar. They have similar growth patterns and cultivation requirements, and some of them are native to a lot of the areas that the people live in. So you'll find this. So Central Florida Palm and Cycad Society is basically encompasses everything that's not like the Miami area, or the Jacksonville area. So that's a member. I think it's like $15 or $20 for a year's membership. Everyone it is the most laid back, coolest group of people you'll ever meet. Everyone there is so nice, and they there's no pretentiousness or anything like that. There's no egos really, and I've always enjoyed being a member and going to the meetings. Sometimes they're kind of far away from me. If I live in Cape Coral, if they're in Vero Beach, it's a 4-hour drive for a 1-day trip. But I have made them before. It's really fun. Sometimes they're closer, say in Sarasota or in the middle of the state, where I can kind of drive up kind of the spine of the state. But with today's traffic in Florida, it can be quite a long journey. But also the South Florida Palm Society is pretty neat. They have an auction every year, a Christmas party and an auction. I helped it out in that back in like 2012. Ken was the auctioneer. It's a lot of fun to run an auction when you're describing plants, and you can hear someone calling out the prices, and people had a few drinks and they spent a little too much money on palms. And there's auctions in the Central Florida Society they try and do a meeting every quarter, so every 3 months there'll be palms for sale by vendors and an auction, and I've gotten plants that were worth probably $100 for like $10, just because, I don't know, there weren't enough people that knew what it was. But you'll get some really good deals on palms at these meetings. So the International Palm Society, they use a lot of the donations that they get towards furthering the research towards new palm species that are now being found. There's a couple species, such as about 5 years ago, they found a palm right on the Colombia-Panamanian border, Sabinaria magnifica. I don't know if I did a video on this, but I thought I did. But really cool palm that grows there on that border there in the Darien. And also, there's a couple new species coming out of the Philippines and Indonesia. There's Mangekia matterbongzii, which is, I know it sounds weird, but it's that's a new genus, and there's going to probably be more coming out as well. They're related to Adenidia. So that's really what the IPS has to offer. If you think that I just got into palms, this is gonna be way over my head. It's definitely not true. Give you a little story. Back in 2006, I got an email from a guy in California that he wanted to buy some palms, and he wanted to come get them, and however he wanted to come and transport them was fine, but he just wanted me to to expedite it. So I decided to go ahead and do that for him, and he was definitely didn't know all the species, but knew that there were some rare plants, and he would go on the International Palm Society forum, find out what was new and what was hot and what was growing. So I'd go and I'd find him everything, and what he did with them afterwards is not my business, but he ended up becoming he didn't know much about species or people. He didn't have any connections, but now he became an IPS director a few years back, and really cool guy. I'm not going to name him because I don't want him to, he may not want to be named. So someone I know doesn't mind, I'll go ahead and name that. But there's a number of people that have, kind of come through the ranks of the palm world. So I take a more laid back approach. I like doing these YouTube videos. I like answering questions on Palm Talk. Traveling for meetings and stuff. That really was never a life that I think that I was meant to do. I don't know if I'd ever be on time to anything. So that sounds terrible, but it's the truth. So that's pretty much it for the International Palm Society. If you have any more questions about the International Palm Society, where to go, palms.org is going to be your number one place. But if you have any other questions beyond that, leave a comment down below. I know I haven't gotten to a number of the comments. I'm sorry about that. I see them and I'm like, I'm going to respond to this, and then the next day it's like I just forgot. So I apologize. I mean to obviously respond to every comment that is useful for the if someone has a real legitimate question, I'm going to answer it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll be many more discussions about plants, stories, species reviews like I've done in the past, and we do a live stream, and I kind of have a cool bunch of people that join, and we talk about plants, and I hope you'll join along, and hope everyone stays warm through this cold snap on the East Coast, and I will see all of you next time.